where the other side is anymore at this point.
No,
but if you want to join us on our YouTube channel, you're welcome to do that as well. Or you can go to our website, wishyouwerebeershow.com, and you can catch all of our episodes there. But we're drinking a beer from Fine Creek tonight. It's going to be exciting, but you're only going to get to see this portion of it, which is not the best angle. Nothing matters anymore.
Daniel's talking to TikTok.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you guys. I'm talking to TikTok.
We're huge over there.
Yeah, I talk to TikTok sometimes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Thursday nights. Huge on TikTok. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Welcome to another episode of the Wish You Were a Beer Show that we do Thursdays whenever we feel like it or there's not a holiday involved.
Valid.
Yeah, so we do 7 shows a year. I can't believe you caught up on one of them. This is amazing. What's more amazing than that is that I'm here, Tiffany's here, and there's a beautiful, clean-cut man on the other side of the camera that I don't even fucking recognize.
He murdered Phil. He got sick of his bullshit not showing up every week. So
let him off.
Just got rid of him, threw him in the river.
I love how excited I am to see your face. It's ridiculous because I feel like, oh, there's Phil. I love that
we
dude.
Were talking about you.
I love that dude.
Earlier, today? We were talking about you earlier today.
Yeah.
I was like, I miss Phil.
And if you missed last week's episode, Phil did quite possibly one of the greatest reviews of a beer in the history of reviewing beer.
I was like laughing, crying.
God.
Even just thinking about it, like it's the funniest shit.
I just love how long you took to get to where you were going. I was like, oh, this feels like a video we've shot before.
Yes.
And I got a hallway here and a creepy elevator. And
I love the elevator. Did you, wait.
Was that the basement?
Yeah. So that's the basement of my building where all our storage units are.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
I was like, where is Phil? We
were trying to put the building together and it took so many turns, I couldn't follow it anymore. Here's my question though. You don't have TikTok anymore.
No.
Right? Yeah, you're not a TikTok guy.
Not a propaganda.
Remind me to send you the screenshot of the still shot I put on TikTok of that beer review because it looks 100% like 9 other videos we've made. And I thought for sure everyone would click it and be like, well, obviously he's in trouble. Obviously something bad happens here. And then you just review a beer.
I was a little sad no one compared it to the Murder Room. You know, I thought maybe we had some longtime viewers that would have put that together.
Actually, you know what? We may have gotten a separate text message from Andrew or Katie that may have mentioned a Murder Room.
I don't recall.
Yeah, hold on. I'll have to go back through it, but I think that may have come up actually.
Yeah. So we do have some longtime listeners and
first-time callers.
Yes.
Oh, no. Okay.
That may have caught it.
Speaking of which, where the fuck is Gabriel?
You know, he finally got a job. And so I think
it's honestly the worst thing that's happened to this show is that Gabriel got a job.
Whenever anyone gets a job, it's like the worst thing to happen to our show.
Why I'm still here.
We are best with unemployed people. Where are they?
Because it's
speaking of which, it looks like we've got 20 unemployed people right now, so that's great.
Free to watch.
Okay.
I love it. If you're unfamiliar with the show, I'm Daniel, Tiffany, Phil. Obviously, we've already set that up, but you can see the ticker on the bottom. Follow us on Instagram, Wish You Were a Beer Show, with all the dots between it. Huge on TikTok, though. We're gaining some traction there. I don't know which Russian bots follow it, but I tell you what, they are active.
They love it.
It's like there's an election coming up. There's so many of them. It's crazy, but they really love it. They're really digging it. So follow us across all the social medias. You can also go to our website, wishyouwerebeershow.com. You can catch all our old episodes. We do have a merch end of the store. So if you're a whore for the industry like myself, and tonight we have Fine Creek on, and we said, well, we have to have Fine Creek paraphernalia. Here we are. You can pick you up a Wish You Were a Beer Show shirt, a fanny pack, a sticker, a coaster. Go nuts. Do your worst.
A really cool one-of-a-kind jacket.
Don't buy the one-of-a-kind jacket because I want to purchase that. Only so that Phil sees it come through the website and goes, somebody bought it. I'll set up a burner Venmo account.
Absolutely not.
I'll get so excited if I see that thing go through.
Exactly. I love it.
I mean, it's the perfect gift to put under the tree.
I
Like, if
100
you're looking for a white elephant gift, that's the one.
a white elephant gift. Here, I got his jacket. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, you have to give it to someone who clearly has never seen the show.
Yes, it's the only way it works. I'm not mad at this at all.
No.
We have an exciting show tonight. If you do follow us and you follow us on social media, we've done several collaboration beers over the years, and we recently got to do one with Fine Creek. They're out of Powhatan, Virginia. We're lucky enough to have their head brewer on, Brian, with us tonight, that Tiffany and I got to brew a beer with, which was really exciting. It's an oddball beer. It's not anything you're ever going to find on anyone else's taps, which is fucking awesome for us. It's one of our favorite crazy things to do when we get to brew with people is like, hey, what do you got in the lineup? And they're like, smoked Vossaøl with Juniper. And we're like, yeah, we'll give it a ring.
Yeah, we'll be a part of that.
Yeah, I'll jump right on that.
Yeah, no.
It's really nice too, because I heard that our logo wasn't on it, and yet here it is. I mean, it's right there. So, I mean,
Phil, nothing would have made me happier than if you would have cut that coaster down and wrapped it around it.
Oh no, this is how it came. It's just
It's a 4D label.
It ships really well.
I love that. We're gonna get a chance to chat with Brian here in a few minutes, which I'm excited about because we got to make the beer with him, and it's always interesting to still hear how it turned out in his mind versus the original origination. No, that's not a thing. You can't say that. Yeah, that sounds ludicrous.
It felt right.
Yeah, it felt good. That was the shitty part. And that makes me doubt myself as a person, is that that felt so good in my mind. And when I said it out loud, I went, no, you're an idiot. And so it's a constant battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I couldn't come up with one either.
We're gonna run right into a segment that originated originally on this show. I might as well just stick with it at this point. Let's do some beer news. We haven't done beer news in a minute, and we're not going to take long because we have Brian on the show. But let's roll beer news.
We're going to do beer news.
Sit up straight.
Like we're anchors.
So beer news is a segment that we occasionally do just about things that are happening in the industry. And I found this one by accident. I'm actually not real sure how I found it, and I don't want to get into my Google searches, but Piggly Wiggly was heavy on them. If you're unfamiliar with Piggly Wiggly, it's a grocery store chain. It's mainly in the Midwest and further south, but they do branch out a little bit. There are some here in our area as well. But Three Sheeps, which is a brewery out of Wisconsin, made a beer specifically for Piggly Wiggly grocery stores. Not re-skewed one of the beers they already made. They came up with 3 new recipes, 3 new SKUs, and made Piggly Wiggly beers. And if you think I'm not reaching out to these people to have a Piggly Wiggly beer, you have lost your goddamn mind.
I mean, I gotta say, I love these labels.
They are great. They are amazing. These labels are, they are everything that
I'm interested in what they classified as a Midwest IPA. Because honestly, when we're talking about IPAs, it's a West Coast IPA or a New England juicy, hazy, like these are the two.
It's the both coasts.
Yeah, I don't know though, but it's called a Midwest.
Is it going to be a little juicy, a little bitter, a little confusing? Like what's going to happen?
There might be.
Or it just may be like the American standard.
There might be bacon grease in it. I don't know. But I hope. Oh, I hope.
Is it because there's a label
that is part of it? Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
I'm more of a by association type guy. Yes. True story. I will have one. Michael will have one.
Yes.
But if you're unfamiliar with Piggly Wiggly, again, it's a very specific grocery store chain, and there weren't a lot of them in this area of Virginia growing up, but they have started to sprout up a little bit. But if you went into North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, they're all over the place. This is like the Food Lion of the Midwest, but they're called Piggly Wigglies.
Perfect.
I'm swinging through. Yeah. I thought it was a strip club the first time I went, but it was
very large.
It was awkward to pay for groceries in $1 bills because I'm prepped. I prepped.
Okay. Is that it for beer news? We good?
Yes.
I think that's it.
I am reaching out to Three Sheeps, though, out of Wisconsin currently because I want them to send us some Piggly Wiggly beers and I want to have them on the show. That is all. That's really the only reason I brought that thing up to begin with.
Once that happens, we're done. We leave.
Yeah, I mean, you go out on
Fine
top.
Creek, not Piggly Wiggly. We're not done after this one.
John Mallet, Brian Mandeville, Piggly Wiggly, show crashes.
Done. Retired.
Done. All right.
All the songs have been made.
All the songs have been made.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. Shut the internet down. All right. No, but again, I'm excited for tonight. I know Phil is because he hasn't tried it yet. But but tonight we are doing a smoked Vossaøl with Juniper from Fine Creek Brewing out of Powhatan, Virginia. This was a collaboration that happened almost 6 months ago at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the process is wild, like literally, but also, anyway, very excited to talk about it.
What?
I'm very excited to talk about the whole bottle conditioning. I'm sorry.
Very excited.
This beer has been, I'm very excited about it.
I hope you have a Fine Creek glass.
Get
a Fine Creek glass before we bring Brian in.
Look it. I got it.
Let me just put on my Fine Creek merch that was sent to me. Oh.
This was like
just like a fucking $50 sweatshirt, bro.
Let me just
you can take the train down here and buy one for less than I can purchase it and send it to you.
I disagree, but
I don't know how that works actually. I don't understand money.
Let's
have Brian on the show.
We bought the bottles to send them to you on time before we went to the brewery. Sweet.
Brian, how are you, bud?
Good. How are y'all?
Obviously not doing well, but we're trying our best. But thanks for bringing it up.
Looking forward.
Brian, I appreciate you being on the show. I know we got a chance to hang out quite a bit, and I know you're meeting Phil now for the first or second time or third time, or never.
Yeah, not first.
Yeah, I was like, have we met before, Phil?
No, never. Nope.
I love that for a second though. You're like, God damn it, have I met him before? Hold on.
I
didn't think we had, but
like, what the hell's Daniel doing? I have no idea. How drunk was I?
That's actually my favorite because I had to think about that, Brian. When we originally reached out to you on Instagram, I had to think about where we met. I had to go through my pictures to remember where we met. Because we met at Ouzelfinch. You came down for
I think it was a Red Beer Festival.
Yeah.
It was.
Yes.
If I remember correctly. From
yeah, and I remember Logan and Jack being like, "Oh, this is Brian." And I was like, "Cool. Great. Nice to talk to you."
We like chatted and I was like, "That guy seems cool. He knows some stuff."
And then when I was looking for things to do with the show, I ended up like going on Fine Creek's website and being like, "Oh, that's what he does." Oh, I'm sorry. They greatly undersold you as a human being and a business.
Yeah.
Jack and Logan tend to be very, very kind with their descriptions of our brewery, so I doubt they undersold us.
Well, they told me you were like, it was like Budweiser, Fine Creek when it came to.
Oh wow! All right.
And that's what I was told. Right? You guys just have this huge system, right?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, very very large scale, very large production.
It's basically AI at this point. It's an automated brewery.
It's basically AI. It's truly the AI of breweries.
Okay, that's how I see it. That's the shirt I want to have.
I love that somehow Fine Creek now gets the moniker of the AI of breweries. Now that being said, though, all jokes aside, Brian, you come from a larger scale production world prior to coming to Fine Creek, correct?
Yeah, so I was the production manager for O'Connor Brewing in Norfolk for a long time. I was the head brewer for Full Steam Brewery in Durham, North Carolina, who has scaled back substantially since then. But at the time, we were ramping up pretty large. We were distributing to 4 states. We were over 10,000 barrels of production. So we were doing a lot. And then, coming to Fine Creek has been a good transition for me, just because it's allowed me to focus a lot more on kind of what I like to do, and focus a lot less on distribution, which I don't particularly like to do. I think it took me way too long in the industry to figure that out, but I eventually did. So there we go.
To put it in perspective, 10,000 barrels a year.
Yeah.
Versus what does Fine Creek produce annually?
So we're like 400 barrels a year.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I mean, when I left O'Connor, we were brewing on a 30-barrel rig. When I was at Full Steam, we were brewing on a 10-barrel, but we were brewing into 60-barrel tanks.
Yep.
So 6 turns on that to fill a tank, and then at Fine Creek, we brew on a 3-barrel system. So it's a much smaller scale than either of those, and probably I would say that probably about 95% of the beer we make is sold on site. So the vast majority of the beer we make is. So it's funny because people are like, "Oh, I've never had any Fine Creek beer. I never see you guys around." I'm like, "Oh, we don't really. If you don't make it out to Powhatan, it's pretty rare you'll see our beer all that often. We try to send out a lot of bottles, but a lot for us is a couple cases. So it's
right. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's crazy that it made it all the way up to New Jersey, though. I'm not sure how that happened, but
hey.
It made it. I'm going to open this thing because it is big, and I'm going to be here a while. So I'm going to kind of get started in this.
I'm not mad about it. Why don't we crack it? Because you're right. It's a 9%er. Obviously, it's a sipping beer, and one of the things, and Brian, maybe you can speak to it a little bit differently than I can, because Tiffany and I had it the weekend after Thanksgiving. We were up at the brewery when it got released on draft. The complexity of the flavors changes a little bit cold to warm, and not the way I would have expected it to, honestly, because it's a smoked Vossaøl, which
you're a smoked Vossaøl.
Oh, we can start there. Yeah. What is a Vossaøl, Brian? I apologize.
So it's a Norwegian beer to begin with. So it's based on an older Norwegian farmhouse beer. And one of the things that is helpful for understanding the names of Norwegian beers is that that ending "ol," that AOL, the O has like a line through it, just means beer. And then the first part is just where that beer is from. So Vossaøl just means beer from Voss. So Voss is I think now it's like a state or municipality in Norway, but it's just a region or town in Norway. So this is beer from this one specific region. And much like a lot of beer brewing traditions in Europe, each region kind of has its own traditions on like how they interpret beer production. So that did end up kind of making it a more specific style.
And is this the first variation of this style of beer you've ever made?
Yeah, so we make a lot of. I personally have like a obsession with fairly obscure traditional farmhouse beers.
Yes.
So we've done a lot of Norwegian stuff, especially. I really like Norwegian brewing. I find it really interesting. It turns a lot of like traditional beliefs about brewing, or especially what we do in like industrial brewing, kind of on its head. I find that really refreshing and really exciting. But so while we'd done a lot of Norwegian stuff, we'd never done a Vossaøl before. So this is a first time.
What exactly makes it? I mean, you're kind of saying it turns on its head, but what exactly is Norwegian brewing for someone who doesn't know?
Yeah, so like I think a lot of people, or maybe not. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of Kvik yeast or not, or Kvik or Kvik, but so to start with, the one of the defining elements for a lot of Norwegian brewing, although this isn't always true, is that it uses a family of yeast that's often referred to as Quebec or Quebec, or I've heard like 3 other pronunciations.
I like Quebec. I think Quebec is what I always hear.
So the crazy thing about this yeast is that it just doesn't play by any of the rules of yeast normally. So first of all, it can ferment at outrageously high temperatures. And by that, I mean, like this beer we fermented at 95 degrees.
Right.
Most beer yeasts that I work with or have ever worked with, if I've tried to ferment at 95 degrees, would be an absolute disgusting mess. Best case scenario, or worst case scenario, just like it would not work. Then yeast might die, or and it really thrives at warmer temperatures. And then the other thing too is that most yeast that does ferment on the warmer side tends to be phenolic positive or produces a lot of phenolic character. Quebec doesn't tend to produce phenolic character, so when you think of phenols, that's normally like the pepperiness in a saison, or the clove in a wit, or the clove in a hefeweizen. Instead, it's mainly very ester forward, very fruit forward. There's certain strains that can be really, really clean. There's some that are used to make what are called pseudo lagers, or because they have the flavor profile of a lager despite being fermented at these like outrageously high temperatures. You can pitch really low, so the amount of yeast you don't need as much as most yeast. It ferments ludicrously fast. Even
that's always the big thing for us with Quebec yeast is like everybody who talked to were like, yeah, we're turning this shit over so much faster than any beer. Like if we use this yeast, it eats, and then we're done.
Yeah, so our lag phase for most yeast. So like once you pitch yeast, it will then normally take time to reproduce to the point where it will start fermentation. And during that, you won't really see a lot of signs of fermentation. You might see a pH drop, but you won't see like CO2 production. There's no ethanol production. That lag phase for most of our yeast is 12 hours. There's some strains we work with where it's not weird at all for that to be 24. Some of our lager strains are annoyingly pushed close to 48 and always make me nervous. Our lag phase for Quebec is about 30 minutes.
I was going to say it was bubbling in the bucket before we were done cleaning up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like
so normally like we put yeast in the beer, and I would say 20 to 30 minutes after adding yeast, you see active fermentation, and about an hour after it, you see robust active fermentation. Normally the next day we come in, 90% of the fermentation we expect to happen is done.
Yeah.
So it's ferments warm, ferments fast, ferments surprisingly clean despite these characteristics. You don't need a lot of it. It dries really well, and I think that partially has to do with some of the traditions used to store it. Because it's like often traditionally stored on these giant wooden rings. Anyway, it's just a crazy yeast, and I think how we ended up with it is also really bizarre, because a lot of regions in Norway, the brewing tradition there no longer uses Quebec, unfortunately, and most of it's been lost. There's like some stuff that happened during like Soviet occupation for certain areas where like brewing was traditional brewing practices were outlawed, so you have these weird little pockets that were more isolated where they kept things going, and other places where it's lost. So a lot of like farmhouse brewers today are using like Chico,
right,
in Norway. But there's Sigmund, I'm gonna forget his last name. It's like Guineas.
Freud. Oh no, different Sigmund. Yeah.
There was this had a homebrew collection of yeast and literally sent it off to a lab, and almost all the commercial Quebec we use today came from this one homebrewer's collection
who had like a little bit of it somewhere and was like, here you go. Yeah,
and then
like the sour starter.
Yeah. And traditionally the way it was done is like every like family would have their own strain that they kind of kept going, and they'd all be a little different. And so we've lost a lot. Like it's funny because you'll see like 20 or 30 different Quebec strains, but the truth is that like we've lost the vast majority of them. So that's like one small piece of Norwegian brewing. I went off on a tangent, sorry.
That's a borderline introduction to where it comes from.
But
well, let me ask
Phil to ask all the questions.
Yeah, I want Phil to ask all the questions
so
because I feel like Phil just got a lesson on Quebec yeast.
And I did as well, and I would have never asked anything about it. So like at this point, I want Phil to ask questions, I think.
No. No, because everything just went right over my head.
What?
Totally into it, totally listening, but just like
With that
damn.
haircut? Not a
I know.
chance.
I can get away with anything when I look like this.
I got some notes actually. I actually have again, it's funny when we do these collaboration beers, and I say funny loosely, but we just kind of latch on to it. Like, obviously there was no part of the recipe where Tiffany and I were like, I tell you what I'd do there.
Never. Literally no.
Jesus Christ, no.
Mm-mm.
But I always think it's interesting because anytime we brew with anybody, we pick up something or we work on a different system or see something different than what we've done. I want to talk about juniper branches going into the mash,
Sure.
right? I know you do a lot of beers that are locally sourced. You have a whole Somewhere Nest coming up this weekend, actually,
on
based
Saturday.
off of this idea. But you know, you make a pawpaw beer that are picked on site. Like we threw whole juniper branches in the mash that are somewhat locally sourced, but not, you know, I know they weren't like on your land, but at the same time, it's a crazy idea. Do other people use whole juniper branches in the mash, or is it mainly berries? Is it mainly
So in Norwegian brewing specifically, the branches are what's often used. You'll hear there are Norwegian brewers. There's like an expression that basically translates to like leave the seeds for the forest. That is about not using berries. The berries have a totally different flavor. Juniper branches, in my opinion, are herbal. They have this like woody character. It can lean on toward like rosemary and dill. It's when most people think of juniper, right? They think of gin and they think of this like pine, really intense. And there is some of that for sure.
Christmas tree in the face?
Yeah.
Like for those of us who had a college drink at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the truth with juniper as like branches is that they it's woody. It has this like deeply kind of foresty character to it. There's like an earthiness, but there's a lot of herbal tones, and that's totally different than the berries. And then the other thing too is that we're using in this case Juniperius virginiana, or like our native juniper to Virginia. A lot of people call it red cedar. It's not cedar at all, but anyway,
it's wrong. They're idiots. You can.
No, it's a common misconfusion.
it.
But common names get all kinds of messy when it comes to plants. The reason this is important is that the juniper used in Norway is totally different and has a slightly different character. So just the fact that we're using Virginia juniper versus European juniper means inherently we're already dealing with kind of a different flavor and aroma palette. But so juniper, weirdly enough, hops in Norway have a long history of being used, which is often not the case for farmhouse.
I was going to say most beers didn't have hops for a long time,
but Norway did both. And for Vossaøl, for example, the hops are largely there just for bitterness, and the juniper is more front and center as far as flavor and aroma goes. There's a lot of beliefs as to why juniper became so popular. It has some antiseptic qualities similar to hops. The way that traditionally a lot of Norwegian beer infuses juniper is actually by steeping it overnight the day before.
Yeah, it's almost more like a tea process versus a brewing process, right?
And then maybe also using alderwood and juniper to form a false bottom. But the truth is that the most traditional way that they formed a false bottom wasn't actually this lattice of, I think people tell that story a lot, but that's not actually what it was normally used as.
Right.
It was normally just a stick in a hole. And you'd kind of pull the stick up a little bit to try to allow liquid to seep through and not have grain come through.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to keep as much grain out as possible, but some's getting through, damn it.
Yeah. And that was often so, but anyway, yeah. Juniper has this long history.
Well, these are the original brewing sticks, like even from when beer was first made. It's a huge cauldron and everybody used this long straw, and it was a community straw, so you didn't get all the grain and all the bullshit coming up out of it. This is the same idea, just the Norwegian version of it. Hold on, we got to let some through, not all of it. Some through, not all of it. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, so the juniper is mainly there for flavor and aroma versus like a more practical lautering process.
Brian's known to have driven a DeLorean at 80 miles per hour from time to time. Okay, Jack.
Brian added this Okay, so I'm gonna say right up front, I stay away from smoked beers normally.
Yeah.
Like,
Great. Yeah.
I don't need to feel like I've got that like barbecue going on in my mouth. Where did you get the smoked flavoring in this? And then also, I also want to say, on top of me not enjoying smoked things, this one is perfectly smoked that I'm actually enjoying it. So I will say, like,
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Smoked. It hit me in the first sip, and I went, "Oh no!" And then I drank the second one, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." Okay, and now it's calmed down majorly. So I've really enjoyed the process. But like, as far as getting smoke in a beer, as far as like how you did it, what's the process? And
So, so Vossaøl is kind of a weird style in that a lot of Norwegian beer is smoked, some of it's not. A lot of Vossaøl today is not smoked. Maybe it was more so in the past. It's often described as having a smoky character. Some of that has to do with a really prolonged boil. So when we were making this, I knew that part of the smoke character was likely from fire, and the truth is just like we have a direct fire kettle at Fine Creek, but it's not wood fired.
Right.
So I knew we weren't going to have like smoke surrounding this long boil process, so I wanted to add some amount of smoked malt. We specifically worked with a custom smoked malt from Murphy and Root in Charlottesville. Jeff Bloom did an alderwood smoked malt for us, and alderwood has a long history of being used in Norwegian brewing, both in the brewing water itself and in the mash, as well as traditionally the wood you would use to smoke. Their malt houses are called it's Sonhus or Sonnus, depending on the pronunciation. And just the nature of the way that they made malt made it very smoky. But the key is that they used alderwood, and the reason that's significant is that alderwood has this really delightful, soft smoke character that is like very fruit forward. If you've ever had like cherry wood smoked or apple wood smoked things, it's much more akin to that. I would say it's even softer and fruitier. So the fact that we were working with that kind of smoked malt, I think plays a big role into this, because the kind of smoke character you get is very different. It's also way more approachable versus like peat smoke, which is like really, really intense, or even beechwood smoke, which is like a common in a lot of German beer making. That just has like a much more like intense kind of profile. And then we did also temper that. So beer was brewed with a blend of both alderwood smoked pale malt and then unsmoked Virginia Pilsner malt from Murphy and Root to try to temper that, because we wanted smoke to be there, but not be like the only thing you could taste.
Yeah, you don't want to get punched in the face with it. It's just, this is a portion of it, but not the whole beer, basically.
Yeah. And I will say personally, I am a huge fan of smoked beer, and we have made some very aggressively. So if you get a smoked beer at Fine Creek, it can run the gambit. We have made beers that are aggressively, painfully smoked, and ones that are really delicate. I think that it's a cool flavor, but
lightly smoked.
Yeah,
and that's what you should call this one.
You need to have little monikers of smoke.
Yeah, like little
peppers,
smoke pictures that get
but
bigger.
It's like, this is one smokes. Like
this is one smokes. I thought this process was interesting. From the juniper to the smoked malt, to the basically the whole grain bill in its entirety was a little bit different than what we had done in past collaborations. Let's talk about the boil, because historically, when you said, do you guys have any issue with doing a Vossaøl? I was like, well, I can't be there 8 hours. And that's just the boil. You know, we were able to cut that down. Obviously, we were able to do some different things, but historically, this beer is made in a large kettle over a fire. Like you mentioned already, this is where a lot of the smoke characteristics come from originally. It's sitting for 8-10 hours sometimes. Historically, we cut it down to 4. Which still felt really long. Not because we were hanging out, but that just feels like a long time, because 90-minute boil is pretty standard in the brewing world. And then, you say what now? 4 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the defining elements of Vossaøl versus like a lot of other smoke or other Norwegian beer. So like what's kind of weird to think about is that brewing traditionally, especially farmhouse brewing, most brewers for most of history only had wooden brewing vessels. They didn't have anything made of metal. And if you're familiar with wood versus metal, you might be aware that it'd be really difficult to boil something in wood.
Correct.
So the way that most stuff was heated was by adding rocks from a fire to a wooden vessel. A lot of Norwegian brewing traditions make what's called raw ale. They never boil the wort.
Yep.
So it just goes straight from mash that was traditionally heated with rocks to fermentation. Convexability to ferment really hot helps here because you've got a liquid that's coming out of the lauter tun at a really hot temperature. So having a yeast that's already more suited for that works really nicely. But in like the late Middle Ages, you start to see the introduction of copper kettles. They were still really expensive. They were still really valuable. And not everybody could afford them. So it's kind of a status symbol.
Yeah.
And Voss ends up being this one region that kind of adopts copper kettles before a lot of the rest of Norway. And to kind of like rub it in other people's faces, not only do they adopt copper kettles and start boiling their wort, they start doing it to kind of an over the top level. And it has a lot of it becomes a way to differentiate, and it becomes part of tradition, but it also has all these other benefits. It darkens the color of the wort substantially. You're able to get a much richer beer out of lighter malt. So you get that kind of darker, richer color. You get some smoke from it. But so the thing is that like there's still Norwegian beer today, like in Hornindal, that is raw or not boiled, but Vossaøl specifically has this long boil. The range of that boil is interesting because for the most part, it wasn't a time thing. It was just an amount. You wanted to reduce the liquid by a certain amount. Right. So historically, the goal was 20 to 50%. For most of the records I could find, that ended up being between 3 to 7 hours. Some going up to 8 on the extreme end. So we went for 4 because I know that would put us around a 30% reduction of volume, which gets us into that 20 to 50 range that I felt like was like, okay, this is fitting within the historical. Like,
right, we're still in the vein. We did our own math, our own research. Not like in a negative way. Sorry. Doing your own research, I forgot, it has a completely negative undertone nowadays. I apologize. But yes, did our own research.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back eventually. No, but I thought this is interesting, and I want to touch on one more portion of the process before we touch on the beer specifically for a minute. Bottle conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're not force carbonating anything. You're just closing the bottles and seeing what happens.
Yeah. So all of our bottles are naturally carbonated, and in general, I'm a really big fan of natural carbonation. It creates. This is going to sound crazy because I don't think people think about CO2 a lot, and they should. But
I think about it.
Brian, I just want to interrupt for you, right?
Yeah, go
just
for it.
a minute. You've sounded crazy this whole time.
Fantastic. That's
So
I'm glad to hear that, Phil.
Just keep going. You're fine.
Yes, fucking.
So the size of the CO2 bubbles that you get changes based on how the CO2 is introduced to a liquid.
Right.
So when you do slower carbonation, natural carbonation is really good for this. You get really tiny bubbles. And when you force carbonation, you get much larger bubbles. And the reason that this matters is that when you're drinking something and you perceive it, larger bubbles create this really prickly sensation. Think about seltzer, right? Yeah. It has, and not only that, you're going to introduce more carbonic acid, which tends to come with CO2, which has a acidity to it. So it creates this like kind of prickly, snappy character. That can be desirable. I think I can think of some styles where that would be really nice. But traditionally, natural carbonation, which is also more true to most farmhouse brewing, it creates this really cool thing, which is like you can have a really intense, robust carbonation, like way higher, but it still feels like soft on your palate. So it's like has much better, like almost creamier texture. It still feels spritzy and lively, but it doesn't like have that kind of like prickly sensation, and it doesn't develop that carbonic
mouth feel to a beer that's not interrupted by the stark contrast of holy shit, everything's exploding.
Which is why I assume nitros are very smooth.
Correct.
It's tiny little.
Yeah, and so nitrogen produces even like tinier bubbles, and that's how you get that like super. So that's like taking this concept to an even extreme. So I like natural carbonation a lot because I just think it creates this really, and especially for a beer like this, it's traditionally a lot of Norwegian beer is like almost not carbonated at all. So we kind of bucked with tradition by carbonating a little bit higher, but it still creates this super soft texture. It's robust in that there's a lot of carbonation, which helps with aroma a lot. So you get a ton of aromatics, but it doesn't feel like prickly or like
It's not
aggressive.
like Tiffany shaved her legs 2 days ago and it got cold outside. It's a fresh shave.
Wow. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Was I
Yeah.
not supposed to run this through my soda stream before I did?
Oh God damn it!
Oh, all right.
Phil.
Is that not
You know,
what
I
I
mean,
was
hey, however you enjoy it, that's fine. I'm not telling you how to live.
I love that Phil started a brewery where he just takes your beer, runs it through a soda stream, and serves it. That's Vossaøl.
The kids love
Lots of
seltzer now.
bubbles.
Why wouldn't they want more bubbles? So just tell them it's a seltzer.
People do love seltzer now. So.
I do.
I love it.
I like them because it's like I'm getting drunk, but I'm healthy. That's why I like a good seltzer.
I feel like vodka had a lot of success of convincing people of that for a while. I just feel like that's the craziest thing in the world that they were like, it's lower calorie. Because I'm like, what are
You can run a
vodka,
marathon.
What are you doing?
Just drink 12 vodkas.
Just because it's clear? I don't understand.
Clear liquor, they really tried that for a while. I feel like they tried this whole, like, it is
I'm
better.
sorry.
I
than
drink
that.
Zima. You know?
Oh.
Like,
Did you say Zima? Yeah, I'm only alive because Zima exists. Otherwise, I'd have been in the gutter a long time ago. It's the healthiest drink when you think about it.
yeah, it's clear. Therefore, it's healthy.
Thank you. Phil gets it.
Yeah.
Brian,
what's something crazy you got coming up?
other
doing
than
crazy
somewhereness,
things
I
over
do
there.
want to talk about somewhereness, but what's crazier than that? Nothing, obviously.
Yeah, I think that's like the next. Oh, following summerness, that's when we'll start thinking about beer dinners. So that's another thing that's really fun for our staff. We have a full kitchen on site. We have a really, I think, incredibly talented culinary team. So it's a fun opportunity where they get to do some stuff that we wouldn't normally be able to put on the normal menu, and it's nice because it really feels like a perfect collaboration of all the different elements of our business. So yeah, that's the next major thing after summerness is beer dinners. And
Well, let's talk about somewhereness, though. Will you explain what that event is? Because I think that's an important one for the area as well.
I assume you're making a beer with that like stinky Norwegian fish. Is
No.
that-
like lutefisk or like
is that
yeah,
not
no,
okay.
no, I
Just an idea man over here. Just
Yeah.
trying.
A shirt salesman.
somebody's just gonna throw spaghetti at the wall, man. You never know. So yeah, so this Saturday we have our third summerness festival. It's from noon to 5. I think the like quick pitch for summerness is it's our hope to celebrate kind of Virginia's fields and forests, but specifically it's the focus on the idea of so the word summerness specifically means like the state of belonging to a specific place. So like think of the wine industry has used terroir to death, but it's basically that same concept.
Right.
So what does it mean for something to actually be made from somewhere? As a brewer, I'm really, really interested in this concept. I'm really interested in this idea of like, what does beer made in Powhatan look like? Like, what is that? And not just because it's made there, but it actually, what does it mean for it to speak of that place, of the traditions of that area, of the agriculture of that area, of the forests of that area? And I think that's how brewing has been done for most of history. This Vossaøl is a really good example of that. So personally, I'm interested in seeing a lot more brewers, cider makers, winemakers kind of go back to this idea. So summerness is one of our few festivals that focuses on a lot more than just beer. So we do also have cider and wine. But the key is that everything that's there is made with Virginia ingredients, either as a showcase of an ingredient or made entirely with them. We ask a lot of winemakers in Virginia that we work with work only with grapes grown in Virginia. So we ask them to showcase stuff that they think kind of really speaks to like what's a grape variety you guys have that is like completely unlike what it's like when it's grown in other regions. Like what's super unique that grows in Virginia, or what's something that grows super well here, or you think has like a distinctive character. So it's fun. It's mellow because it's our December festival, so it tends to be a little more slower pace. And it has a really wide range of stuff because it's not like Wild and Weird's another big festival we do, and that's mainly just it's exclusively mixed culture beer, so it tends to skew a very specific direction. Summer Nest is
You
cool
get a lot of
'cause you have-
weirdos there on that event. Yeah, understood. Yeah.
So it's nice because it's just we get a lot like a big range of stuff.
Yeah.
Like as far as styles and
Well, I dig that, Brian. I honestly, this was a wild process for Tiffany and I, and it was a really fun beer to make, and I wasn't sure if it was ever going to come out. And I know that sounds ridiculous because we didn't know the process, and like you do this every single day, and we're like, well, I don't know, maybe I should email them and find out when it's being
I
released.
feel like,
And I knew you had a plan, but
we'd get excited and then we'd kind of forget about it and be like,
Yep.
oh man, we got that beer.
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
especially with like higher ABV naturally carbonated stuff, we tend to give it a lot of time. I think long natural conditioning time can make a really big difference, especially for a beer like this, because like the juniper undergoes this crazy transformation where it goes from like really intense and kind of overwhelming, and then after like a couple months it starts to mellow out really nicely and all the flavors kind of come together, but it takes time. So I appreciate you guys' patience because
I
it
was
did take a minute.
unprepared of the time it was going to take, and
I wasn't
that's
patient at
on
all.
me.
I was yelling at them every day.
Phil sent me an email every day because he does
Every
all
day.
the show work. He was like, "When is this fucking beer coming out?" I was like,
This
"Good
is a waste of our time. They made our logo on the bottle look weird. I don't know. I don't agree with whatever's happening.
If you can't tell Phil's a logo guy, I don't know how I can help you." Like,
I'm just saying we could have really classed up this bottle. That's all I'm saying.
That's the classiest
It's
bottle
really
we've ever
trashy
made.
looking.
It's
And we could
literally
have
the
classed it up.
I love the way our bottles look, but man, it's the shape and size of them does not give us a lot of space. So
Oh, true story.
Sure, whatever. You know,
Sure,
If
whatever.
there's any space right here.
you're right. There's like an entire other half of the bottle that's got nothing on it.
Brian, did we mention you hand label every bottle?
Yeah, that is true. The
Okay,
likelihood that either myself or Paul, the other brewer at Fine Creek,
You had 2 free workers while we were making this beer with you. I don't know what the problem
We
was.
brewed it. We weren't there 6 months later to bottle it.
Yeah, it's
This 9%.
Phil, you're bringing up nothing but
Yeah,
good points. I've got
you
no
know?
counter to any of it. You know, it's
You're fired, but you're bringing up nothing but good points. That's the idea in the modern culture. Brian, I just want to say we really appreciated this process, and we were lucky enough to come up there this Saturday for Thanksgiving. I had some family in town. We had some friends come out who were from Powhatan and some other locations and breweries. Really fucking enjoyed being at the venue and being able to showcase our beer. And I think Fine Creek did a phenomenal job of putting it out there, displaying it, like all this random stuff that normally we would have to do. You guys did and did really well. So I can't compliment you enough on that. And the beer turned out fucking amazing. And then
your social media post was like, killer.
yeah.
Like,
you should do social media,
We
Brian.
thought there was like a whole team making your stuff, and that's impressive. So kudos. You have another talent in case you ever decide to fall back after brewing. Just in case this for some reason doesn't work out, which is
probably not going to happen.
I think you're doing amazing things.
Well, thank you.
That being said, though,
and thank you guys for working with us and being willing to do some obscure, bizarre Norwegian farmhouse beer.
I'm super excited that Tiffany got to draw our logo on your grain room as a second, maybe almost third collaboration that will continue to build in that room. And I love that we're in there and a part of it for some crazy reason.
Very bold.
Yeah,
very bold.
Very thick lines.
Well, it's
not an artist.
It looks good, and to speak to the logo, it's very the logo. So
it's very the logo.
I mean, you'd be proud.
I can think of worse things to say.
It does look like it. Yes.
Well, Brian, again, we appreciate you. Thanks for
Yes.
swinging by the show. We're gonna review this beer, so we'll kick you out so that Phil can trash it.
Oh my God,
Yep.
I'm talking
That's the plan.
for so long.
Oh, he's gonna trash it.
I mean, it's at least 1 point down for this, but I'll let it go. I'll be fair.
Brian, cheers,
Brian,
brother. We'll
thank
see you
you.
soon, man.
Bye.
Cheers. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you can't both.
Oh,
do
We
it.
can't both push the button.
You're not used to me being here and pushing all
I
the
know.
buttons.
Well, Phil, will you roll the
Take your
review
bottom
time?
position. What?
Review clip? I was already on it, but I had to push the button.
I love that it zooms in on his face.
Gonna be hard to review this beer with an erection, but here we go. TikTok. I don't really have an erection. You
They can see
it.
his
Oh,
entire
God damn it!
leg.
You're right. Hold
He's
on.
wearing like shorts that are like.
I have my basketball shorts on. TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing you've got a small dick.
Ew.
I'm just gonna make sure this bottle's not wet.
I'm just gonna sit here like the internet lagged until you apologize for that statement. All right. Tonight again we are reviewing a beer that luckily we had a hand in. We are doing a beer that is a smoked Vossaøl with Juniper from Fine Creek Brewing.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna compare it to a lot of the other smoked Vossaøls I've had.
It's not about that, Phil. Maybe you just tell me if the beer was good, you fucking lag wagon.
Well, we
Let's
always
go.
say we compare it to
Lag
other
wagon?
versions of what we've had.
Don't Google it.
And
Have you had a smoked beer before?
I've had a smoked beer, not a smoked Vossaøl.
It doesn't matter, Phil.
So I might have to lead
as
some
you
wiggle room.
learned, was just the region in which it came from. It's not. I don't even know how to fix this for you, man. I'm gonna
You
review the
can't
beer,
compare
All
it
right.
to Vossaøl. I actually don't
Review
know.
the beer.
and we review the beer through Untapped. Unfortunately, for the rest of the brewing industry, we do use it. It's a very easy way to clock our beers. They are doing a series of badges where if you check in a new beer for the 5 days from Monday through Friday, you get an individual badge you'll never be able to get again. I'm a whore for the industry. I don't know how to explain this to you people.
I'm pretty sure I checked this in at the.
Yeah, I did. But again, so 1 being the worst beer you've ever had, 5 being the best beer that Phil's never tried. And
He's
tonight,
drinking it right now.
well, we'll find out.
And we've had a lot of other 5 beers.
Oh,
we've made.
wait, let's let Phil review it first. Go, Phil.
I don't want to review it. All right. First off, I'm not super bitter about this, but no, where to begin about this beer? I was nervous about this because we tend to score our own beers higher. Let's be honest. When we brew a beer, it does get that higher score because
We're biased.
Yeah.
We might as well. We were part of it, so I'm not. I'm gonna give it the same score I've given all of our beers,
Which is 3.25.
What?
exactly. I like to take our relationships and just slam them into the ground.
Thanks for the opportunity, asshole.
So here's the thing. This is a 5 beer, and the reasoning behind it, I was actually a little nervous I wasn't gonna be able to give this a 5 because I was like smoked.
Yep.
I was like, it's gonna be like I'm not a beer connoisseur. Let's be honest. Like we've listened to me do this show for 4 or 5 years or whatever it is at this point. And then I was so surprised when I drank it. I was like, oh man, this is good. I was like, it convinced me that smoked can be in a beer and it can be good.
Right.
Smoked tends to ruin a beer for me, but if the beer is like fireside beer, smoked something, then it's like, yeah, of course it's going to be like heavily smoked, but this is just a beer that says it's smoked, and I'm like, okay, let's see. And it's not overly smoked. So for me, it's a perfect 5 because it's the first smoked beer I've had where I've actually been like, I would have another one of these. I don't mind the smoked.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
So you're going 3.25.
Yeah.
Okay.
A perfect 5. It's a perfect 5. And I actually really mean it. There's been some 5s in the past that I did not mean, but this one, I mean.
Ew, gross. No, but I do feel what you're saying though, because again, I'm always, especially if I had a part in it in any capacity, I'm gonna be like, well, this is the greatest beer ever made because I touched it. And I hate to be that selfish guy, but I'm like, yeah, obviously it's the best. Take a look around. But and the same thing I said to Brian before we cut him loose. I was like, this was, and I think you set the show up perfectly for that reason, the most interesting collaboration we've ever done. And we did a weird wild ale or a weird wild sour with tripping animals. This is the most interesting beer we've ever made because it's a weird science study on why it's done, why it's well done. It's a historically accurate within reason. We took some local ingredients. We did so many things to go into this beer that make this beer not come across too smoky, not too wild, not too this, not too that. Like, it's just a great culmination of ingredients, history, modern beer making. I think this is probably one of the most well-rounded beers we've made to date. Jack, I know you're watching. I loved our beer. Don't get it twisted, boo. But I think this is one of the most well-rounded beers that we've had the opportunity to be a part of. And for most of that, it comes from Fine Creek. It comes from Brian, a sharp individual and a great location that's given him the ability to make a fucking smoked Vossaøl. Like you have the ability to make this beer. So holy shit.
And I remember watching the Instagram account while you guys were making this beer and just being like, what are they doing? Like, I've been there for a few of our collabs and it's mostly just like, hey, here's this giant tank, throw some shit in it.
Right.
The beer. You guys were like digging through trees. I was like, what is going on? I saw like open flames happening. I was like, where are they? Are they okay?
Again, it's an open fire system, not quite wood. That's why we had to have the smoked malt. Again, everything comes into play.
So that's when you told me that we weren't going to have a logo on this beer. I was like, you know what? I'll accept this, you know. But
I mean, I'll be real mad about Brian at it.
I'm gonna be pissed off me Brian the whole time.
I mean, hey, Phil called out John Mallet about Bell's Two Hearted on the show. So the fact that
I always stand by my statement. Bell's Two Hearted is the ugliest can in America, and I will say that until the end of time.
To his face.
I just love that John Mallet is letting his feral cat out and feels like the can label sucks.
Got a fucking fish on it. What the hell? All right, continue. Sorry, I interrupted your review.
Anyway, it's a 5 for me. Again, we were lucky enough to go up there the weekend after Thanksgiving and get to enjoy the beer on site for the release. And we hadn't tried it when we got there either. We had a lot of friends and family around. It was beautiful to be able to share the beer. In my mind, I think like what Brian touched on earlier, like that's the idea of getting back to brewing. This beer was made in this little area and everyone congregated in that little area and we got to share that beer and hang out with it. Like that's the fucking idea of beer. Like that's the only reason we brew it anymore. We don't have to, I have clean water coming out of the, well, we're in a well. Other people have clean water coming out of the sink. But
ours is clean.
You can drink water anymore. We don't have to brew beer in every house just to be able to not kill ourselves with poisoned water. So the idea of brewing a beer now, and I agree with Brian, is how do we come together as a community? How do we hang out? How do we get to have a beer together? Like, what is the process of making a beer from the area and everybody benefits from it? And I'm not Norwegian, but fuck. Actually, I might be Norwegian. I've never taken a thing. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. Go.
So I'm going to try not to like repeat everything that you all have
Perfect.
said.
What's your score then?
Wow.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Wow. So Phil, to your point of being concerned about smoky, same thing. And actually I accidentally mentioned this to Brian as we were brewing. And I feel like Brian had this like, I mean, the anxiety must have been real throughout the whole thing because as we were brewing, and like as it was coming out, he was like, "Oh God, it's me too smoked for Tiffany." Oh my God.
He sent us an email. Sorry, Tiffany.
He's like, "I'm so sorry. You're gonna hate your beer." And I was like, "Listen, like I am a grown up. I will be fine. I don't have to like every beer we make. It'll be fine." So I went into this being like, all right, this is gonna be terrible. Like in a sense of like it's gonna be like so smoky, it's gonna be like campfire to the face. It was not. And I was so excited. And I think that's why I'm so excited for this show. Because I was like, you guys, like, I thought this beer was going to be something it was definitely not. And to the point with Dick Daniel of like throwing like the whole branches.
Dick Daniel?
I said, and to the point with Daniel and like throwing things in and like the branches and like being part of like the like commercialized home brewing system. It felt like it was like super cool and like very close knit. Like between the like just not expecting what this beer was and then like being part of like just a weird part of like process. Like this has been the most fun, and I hate to say this, Jack. I know you're watching because I definitely I want to read.
He already texted 23 and Daniel.
Yes. Anyway, but like this was such a weird, wild opportunity to like get to do something that is so outside of like not only just my like normal day to day, but I think like the normal brewing process because like. Every time we've brewed a beer, it has been the most fun day of my life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Every time. It is like we're hanging out with people. I'm learning something new. I'm not in front of a computer.
I'm shitting somewhere different.
Right. I'm writing on walls with Sharpies. Like, it's always the best day. And it just like continues to be the best day. And this was just another best day. And it was such a great opportunity.
What did you rate the beer
it's
at?
It's a 5, Daniel.
God,
I already said this.
You said you didn't want to repeat everything, and then you just repeated everything. I have that on film.
That 9% starting to kick in, I think.
Wow.
All right.
No, but this was a very cool opportunity and a very cool beer, and it like turned out really well. And just in general, this was a very cool opportunity. So
agreed.
And the venue's super cool.
God, if you haven't
stay in the cabins. My God. If
you haven't been to Fine Creek,
I just want to live in one of those little cabins.
Yeah, it's a beautiful property. Again, if you go through our Instagram, you can see the brew day where we did get to stay in the cabins from Fine Creek Provisions as well, and hang out with everybody and literally be on a back porch looking up at the brewery. Like it's a wild place to stay, and you can just walk up to the brewery and hang out and have a beer, and then walk back down and get a coffee and sleep in a cabin on the same property, which is fantastic. So
very cool.
If you haven't had the chance to visit Fine Creek, again, Powhatan, Virginia, it's a beautiful location. Follow them on Instagram. You can find all their information. They're a fantastic group of people. Everyone we dealt with was a shit ton of fun and a good person. Yeah. Which is weird because the brewing industry is normally a bunch of dicks. Oh, no, wait. No.
No, and the food was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we lived closer because I think that just
it's actually probably good that we don't.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. We'd just be more poor.
I'd like to go visit them. Other than that, Phil, can we do a friendship Christmas episode next week? I texted you about it. I never heard anything back.
I think he said it was good.
What?
Yeah, I think he responded.
I don't think I did. I don't remember this. We're doing a friendship.
You didn't respond. I sent it to the group chat. So next week we're gonna invite all of our friends on. We'll send you all the public link and you are in the private link, and you just come down to the waiting room and we'll drag you in.
And if it's full, just try again in 5 minutes.
And try again in 5 minutes, like my first marriage.
I love this.
Wow.
It's been a while since we've done it.
Yeah, I love it. Let's go.
Come dressed up.
We'll get Gabriel on.
He's got a job. We don't know.
He doesn't have a job. He's never
Is Mallet
had a job.
coming? I don't
Is Mallet coming?
Listen.
Every time I reach out to him, he says, "Oh, is that the show that trashed my fucking can?"
9th episode in, I'm gonna fuck shit up right away.
I love that our 9th episode with John Mallet on feels like you can art sucks.
I'm talking shit to John Mallet while sitting in a tub.
Godfather of malt. You're like, cool fish though, bro.
I'm sitting in a tub in New York, like, you suck.
Oh, you were in the bathtub.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.
See you later, daters.
Oh my God.